Looking at the limits section, for the function y equals f of x, whose graph is shown below, find these following values. And I want to start by looking at letter B and letter G, because those are not limits. We simply look at the value f of -1. So we find -1 on the x-axis, and then we're going to go up until we have a filled-in circle at 2. Same idea for letter G. G says f of +1. We're going to go over to 1 on the x-axis, and then we're going to go up until we get to a filled-in value, and we have a filled-in value at 3. And then we can go back and look at the limits. Well, the limit has x approaches 1, and we don't have any designation here, but if we glance coming as x approaches 1, coming from the left, we're going towards that value, and coming from the right, we're going towards that value. It looks like the limit as x approaches 1 is going to be getting very, very, very close to 1. On part C, limit as x approaches 0 from the right. Well, as x approaches 0 from the right, we're going to go and get very, very close to about that point. And I'm filling that in the way I did so that you can see what I was looking at. Coming from the right, and it looks like we're approaching 1.5. The limit as x approaches -1 from the left. Well, the limit as x approaches -1 from the left, we're going to go here, 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 here. It looks like we're getting very, very, very close to the value of not -1, but +1. If we come from the other direction, we're going to look at a different branch of this graph, because we're going to come and start over here. As we get closer and closer and closer and closer to -1, here, when the x value is getting closer and closer and closer to -1, we're getting closer and closer to 2. And because, as we come from the left, we approach 1, and we come from the right and we approach 2, this limit does not exist. And that leaves just one final limit to look at, and that is going to be the limit as x approaches 2 from the left, and as x approaches 2 from the left, it's +2. So we're coming over here, and as x approaches 2 from the left, we're also approaching 2. Same idea as we look at problem number 2 here. We've got another function, y equals f of x, and when I take a look at this, almost all of these are limits except for letter f, so I want to start there. It says f of 2. Remember, go up or down as the case might be, but in this case it's up until we reach a solid dot, which is at 2. And that's the only one that is not a limit, at least that I noticed right at the moment. All of the rest of them have the word limit in them, so we should be good. So we go back to the beginning here. It says the limit of f of x as x approaches 1 from the left. So from the left, x approaches 1, where we're going to end up is right about here at the value of 1. Let me look at that one more time here, because it's not at 1. As x approaches 1, we're going to end up to be very, very, very close to 2. Sorry about that. If we come from the other direction then, the limit as x approaches 1 from the right, we're going to be following this part of the graph. And where we're getting very, very close to is we're getting very, very close to 1. And what happens, because these each are different values, once again, when they have different values, our limit does not exist. If we look at the same kind of thing, the limit as x approaches 2 from the left. Well, the limit as x approaches 2 from the left, we're going to follow along here, and as x approaches 2 from the left, we're going to be very, very close to 1. As the limit as x approaches 2 from the right, we're going to go from this direction, and we're still going to approach 1, which overall, if we jump down here to letter G, then the limit as x approaches 2, because D and E were 1, G is also 1. From the left side, we're approaching 1. From the right side, we're approaching 1. So consequently, we're approaching the same value from either side. So we do have a limit that exists there. And lastly, on this particular graph, the limit as x approaches 0 of f of x, well, I still want to look at it from the perspective of coming from the left, it looks like we're approaching 0. Coming from the left, we're also approaching 0. And our limit is going to be 0.